Hey everyone, today we're inside the element and we're talking about a problem that annoyed me for a very long time. The door armrest. On both sides actually. You may have noticed that where the elbow sits, it's kind of squishy and has a big dip in it in the rubber, and think that that's just the way it's supposed to be. It's not. There might even be a noise. It might be hard to hear on camera, but it squeaks or clicks, and that just means it's broken. So from the factory, when the car was new, it's supposed to be nice and flat, maybe a tiny bit of a dip because there is a little bit of padding under there, which I'll show you in a bit when we take a closer look at the inside of it. But really, the plastic underneath is only attached in 4 or 5 little spots, and over the years it cracks and breaks, and eventually your elbow literally goes through it. So it's been annoying me for a long time, and I finally decided to do something about it. Let's take a closer look, and then we'll come back to the car and actually look at how to fix it. Alright, so let's take a look at the problem closer up. This is an armrest from the driver's side of an 04 Honda Element that I had literally cut a piece of the plastic door panel to go with it, just for ease of designing and demonstrating this. And if we look at the area of where the elbow rests, where you might lean your upper body on it, right? Underneath it is just a big cavity. There's really nothing there. The only support for this rubber part is this thin piece of plastic here that's part of the plastic door panel, and it's connected to the rest of the door panel with 5 spots, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, one in the back there, and over time, under weight pressure, those crack and break, and then it begins to sag, right? As you put your weight on it, this is what happens to it. To solve this problem, I designed this insert. It is made out of 2 separate materials, and it comes assembled. There's no need for you to disassemble it, but it's super easy. If it does, just put it back in. The bottom part is made out of ASA and is rigid. The top part is TPU 85A and has a bit of give to it, just to add a little bit of padding. The instructions are right on it. D is for driver's side, passenger side has a P on it. This side up, this says towards front of car, and then step 1 and step 2. Step 1 is to insert this end first and hook it underneath the plastic here. Step 2 will be to press this end of it in until it clicks. Let's do it. Step 1, hook that underneath. Step 2, done. This is installed and ready to go back in the car. There actually is a way to install this while the door panel is still on the car in the 03 to 06 elements, and maybe some of the 07 SCs. So far we've seen those where they don't have a metal plate here. In my 07, and I assume the later years as well, there is a piece of sheet metal that conforms to the inside of the door panel, and I think it's just reinforcement or maybe sound deadening, I'm not sure, but there's a corner of it that kind of comes out to here. This screw holds it on, and it's also held on with adhesive, and it gets in the way. So as you watch this video, depending on what model year your element is, you'll find a section that is appropriate for the installation on your model. It is possible with the 03 to 06 to do it with the door panel not even completely removed, but if you want to, you can always remove it completely and do that. On the 07s and up, you're going to have to probably remove the door panel off. Keep watching. Alright, so we took a look at the problem close up, and now it's time to install our CaveMods inserts. So there are plenty of videos out there on how to remove this door panel, but might as well do another one, right? Both doors will work the same way. Just be careful with it. You don't want to scratch, dent, break your plastic, break clips, things like that. You inevitably will break it, especially the clips. So having a few extras on hand is not a bad idea. Alright, the door, first thing we have to do is remove a couple of extra trim pieces and then remove some screws. This piece over here literally just pulls out. It's fairly easy to remove. It's only attached by this one clip and then a few nubs here. Right? Not a big deal. Put it aside. This one's a little harder to remove. It has a metal clip
that goes in there, and then a groove that it fits into in there. What I like to do is take a crowbar, anything hard and wide like this, and just kind of get it under there carefully and gently kind of pry it out away from the door for the clip, and then up to get it out of that groove that you might be able to see there. So you've got this clip right here that's vertical, right? And then you have this little thing in there. Let's see if I can get it for you to see, right? And that sits in that little groove there. That's the anatomy of it. So out and then up. Put that away. And I don't mind a little bit of a scratch here and there, so try to use strong plastic tools if you have them. If you don't care, do what I do. All right, next up we have screws, and before we get to some of them we have to remove again some cover pieces. So there are 2 screws behind the door handle here. Take a little screwdriver, a little flathead screwdriver, put it in the center top. You see a little divot there, and stick it in, press it in, and you'll hear a little pop, and then pry it down, and this little cover will come off. No big deal. Even if you break this little clip, it's not a big deal. Again, it's purely cosmetic, and you can find them at junkyards a lot. I know Element DIY also sells them. And then there's 2 screws under there. We're gonna get to those in a second, but let's continue on removing stuff. The speaker cover. Again, this one comes off really easy. A plastic trim removal tool will get under there and done. It's only held on by a couple of metal clips down here at the bottom and some plastic tabs. So be gentle, but it comes off easy. Next up, there's a hidden one that people often miss, and I did the first time, and that I took these off, and that's why I broke it. There is a cover underneath there. Let me get the camera closer, and I hope that you can see that. There you go. Right there. Right? So what we want to do is kind of pop that open. It's just a little flap, and it's not even really attached to the car in any meaningful way. So you're probably going to drop it, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. And then there's a screw underneath there. So let me put the camera back down and get to that. Let's pop this off. And it just kind of hangs there. When I pull this off, it may actually drop to the ground, but we'll see. So just pay attention. All right, next up, everything that we need to uncover has been uncovered. We just need to take off screws. So start with the 2 screws over here behind the handle. You can move the handle out of the way if you need to. 2 fairly small screws like this. Give you a closer look at them so you know what they look like. Just put them somewhere where you're not going to lose them. And remember which goes where. Number 2. Then we'll do the screw that's underneath the armrest. That's a longer, fatter screw for sure. All of them are Phillips. And then we've got 3 more screws around the speaker. Also longer, fatter screws, but they are a bit different from the one underneath the armrest. All right, and that's it. Next up, we just have to carefully remove the speaker, pull it out, and unclip it. All clips, put one on either side, press them in, and wiggle it off. Done. Tuck that in, and we are almost there. Next up, we can remove, let's choose a plastic trim tool, if we're going to remove the entire thing, this helps pry off the handle cover. You can disconnect this electrical connector. Super easy. There's a tab in the back of it. On the bottom, on the gray part of it, it's gray and blue. On the back of it, let me give you a closer look. Right there. You want to press this tab in. Oops, lost the car. And there you go. And next, and this is important, you see that little yellowish tab in there. What needs to happen to that one is it's keeping that bar, that basically the actuator that locks and unlocks the car with the handle. It clips onto that, right? And we need to sort of push it back and swivel it off that bar. Can't do that with one hand, so hopefully that's enough. But again, there are better videos out there for that. And you can do that with a flathead screwdriver, a sturdy trim removal tool. You just kind of push it out of the way. Just be gentle to not break it. If you break it, then it's a pain in the butt. And once you swiveled it out of the way, I'll show you another closer look. Once it's been swiveled out of the way like that, you can just pop the bar. Come on, there you go. Just pop it out of there, and it's all loose now. And that's what you want. So, now take this. It just happened to hang there, or it's still hanging from this. If you haven't unplugged it yet, it's probably best to not unplug this until after you do that, so that it doesn't drop on the floor. All right, and now we're mostly done. We can remove the door cart now, but the way it's attached, it's mostly sitting on clips, of course, all the way around, and then this weather seal clips into the actual door frame. And of course, it's hooked over the lock button right here, right? So take a trim removal tool or use your hands, it also works, and start somewhere along the bottom and gently pop the various clips. You can actually see a clip right there through the speaker hole, and that one tends to, in my experience, tends to just kind of stay on the car and pull off the tabs that are holding it in. But this time it came out with it. There we go. I heard a clip fall somewhere. There it goes. Oh, that's actually not a clip. This is what happens when you forget that screw that's underneath the armrest. This is a part of the actual door card, and when you forget that there's a screw there and you try to yank it off, this ends up breaking. It's a fairly flimsy connection there for the plastic, so it ends up breaking. I've super glued it on many times at this point. So is it a big deal? Probably not, but someday I'll just get a new door card. All right, so now pretty much all the clips are off. The only things holding it on are this weather strip right here. There's the top part, right, that hooks into the sort of where the window sits into the frame, and then there's of course an electrical connection here for your window controls. So what I want to do next is I want to try to install the inserts without even taking this off, because putting it back on is a pain in the butt. So it's as loose as I'm going to get it, and all I need is access to this part in the back, and I have that. So I'm going to try to see if that's possible. All right, the door card is hanging off of it, like this, and I just stuck the headrest in there to keep it pried open. And let's take a look at what things look like. If you remember from before, the other side of this will have a cavity. So let's look at that when it's actually on a door that's whole, and we see some insulation in there. If we move that insulation to the side, we can see some, get the light in there, we can see that cavity right there. And as you can see, that plastic is broken. It is so broken. All right, let me grab the insert and we'll see if we can install it. All right, this is an 03 element. The 03s to the 06 do not have the metal plate that's back here that gets in the way, so this might be the easier way to do this. Prop it open with a headrest. Like this, you don't have to take the entire thing off, just the screws for the speaker and the screw that's underneath the armrest. Pop all the clips, and then slide that insulation out of the way, and you can see that cavity in there. And so now, yeah, this is the driver's side, this side towards the front of the car, this in the back, and we want to hook the back end first. So we'll kind of get it in there. That's it. And then push the front end in. Take the clicks. Come on. This might be hard to do when it's on the door. Maybe it is not. It's like this. Come on. It's in, but it doesn't. There we go. Snaps into place. Insulation back in. That's it. And now it's good. It's supported. Takes a bit of effort, but it can be done. All right, I did some digging in there to try to install it with the card still hanging on the door, but it looks like that is not possible because of this piece of metal that is screwed onto the back side of it, and it just hinders it just a little bit right there. So we're gonna have to take the door card off. It's not a big deal, just I was hoping I could do it without it. All you gotta do is just grab it, and again, be gentle. That's it. Now don't yank it all off because there are still electrical connections in here. So I'll try to show you those. All right, you got your mirror control going up there. You've got this, which we had already unhooked, right? And then you've got these that connect to the mirror controls, door locks, and all of that. So there are technically two in there if you've got those mirror controls. Let's go there. And then another one, the bottom side of it. Right underneath it, there's a tab. I can't even show you that. It's a bit finicky to take off, especially with one hand. And I'm holding the door card up against my body. There we go, and it's out. And as you can see, this is the little tab that I try to press in. The other one is kind of the same thing. Has this white tab at the bottom. All right, and now door card is off. Alright, now the door card is off, just put it on the car's hood. It's fine. You see some staining from when rain gets in there. And just a quick trip on the inside of this, you'll see all of these clips. Right? On this case, they're not broken, and that's nice. Always good to know. The small piece underneath the armrest that broke off a long time ago, see how that's just, it kind of just caps this area. So it's not great. It's not a particularly robust design. So after I install the armrest thing, I'm actually gonna super glue it back in place just so it's there for installing the door card back in. It will probably break again the next time I try to put it on. I might put some epoxy around it and try to strengthen it. We'll see. Okay, so we remove the screws and we need to get the insert in there. Unfortunately, in my element, which is an 07, this piece of metal gets in the way. I don't have to pry this up. You can. It's attached by that screw and adhesive, and you can kind of peel it off or even bend it out of shape to do this, and then bend it back. It's not a really strong piece of metal, so you can do that. That's an option. But we have the other option of, if this is broken, as it is very much on mine, it actually gives us a little bit of an advantage. We can take the armrest and kind of pry it out of the way like that, right? And then it gives us some give, and we just kind of stick everything out of there, basically pushing the armrest out of the way, right? And once we clear that piece of metal, it's in there. Then we push the armrest back in, and installation is done, right? If you don't have that piece of metal, follow the instructions in the section that I had before with just a piece of the armrest. You just put this in first, put this in second, just press it in until it clicks, and it's done. Same thing if you just move the piece of metal out of the way. Stick this end in first, like that, and then push this end in until it clicks into place. And that's good to go. It looks like the rest of the piece is kind of stuck onto the car with adhesive. A little bit of peeling it off. There we go. And then just keep it held up and pried off. A little bit. Come on. There we go. Stick that end in first. It hooks underneath, and that's it. Until it clicks into place. There we go. And we're all done. Let's put the screw back in. Push that down. And let's hang it back up. I'm going to glue this back on before I do that. Okay, I wasn't going to film this because I thought, why? But then I changed my mind. This might be one of those stupid little gems that somebody in the same situation is looking for an answer on YouTube and spends hours searching for videos. So maybe you found this. If you did, great. Happy it helped you. Maybe it did. If you have a better way of doing this, also tell me. So a little anatomy lesson. Again, this is the back side of the door's card. That's where the screw that's underneath the armrest is attaching this whole thing, holding it onto the door. And this piece of plastic is actually part of it, right? And it's got a hole for the screw, obviously, right there. And it's got grooves on either side. One of them is for when you put in your little flathead screwdriver to pop this flap open. The other is for the other end of the flap to actually get attached, and it sits in there like this. This, like that. So from the inside of the car, you know, it kind of ends up looking like that, right? So what we want to do, and we don't have to have this in place right now, we can press it in after, but there's no harm in putting it in right now. I'm going to use some super glue initially. I have done this before with super glue, and every time I've taken the door off, you know, if I'm fixing a problem or designing a solution for something or whatever, you know, it's or when I was insulating the car for sound, it tends to break off again. So I'm going to spray some accelerant on one side, and the flat end of this to the flat end of the hole, fit it on, hold it in place for a little bit. Come on. Of course it will get moved. Alright, there we go. I'm just going to hold it in place for a little bit. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to mix some epoxy and spread it around there just to try to make it stronger. Don't know if it'll work or not, but we'll see. Right, good enough for now. This is some marine grade JB Weld 5-minute epoxy. Same stuff I use for the magnetic trims. Come on. More than enough. You don't have a lot of time to work with this, 5 minutes, so mix it up real quick, and then get this out of the way, and we're going to just build up a layer around it on that joint, and I'm going to avoid putting it on the back side of this or the front side where we need space for the tabs to come in and for a flathead screwdriver. Just avoid those areas, and that's it. You know what, I still got a little bit of glue left. I'm gonna dab a little bit here for the insulation to attach to. Okay, back to the inside of the car. This part is where it gets tricky. First thing to do, I noticed that this clip over here is out of place, so we'll just push that back in. Next, support the door card with your leg, and just plug all of these connectors back in. Bit of a pain to do, but we'll get it done. Alright, got one. There's that big gray one on the back. Buttons. There we go. And then, don't forget to take the one for the actual lock. And just hold it up while you do this. And the tricky part is to get this weather seal hooked on the frame over here, on that part, behind it, while also getting the door lock button to be in its hole. Not the easiest thing to do, but a little bit of frustration and you'll get it done. If there's an easier way to do this, let me know. So slide one end in, makes it easier to hold, and then try to fish the button into where it needs to be. There we go. Done. Everything's in place. Didn't lose this inside the door, so that's good. Come on. Piece of plastic here. moisture barrier. Make sure it's where it needs to be. All right, now that we have it all there, we're gonna push all the clips back in. Make sure you get the speaker cord there as well. Let's take the speaker, reattach it, the connector on the bottom, facing the bottom of the car, right? Line up the holes. Like that. I'm going to put all the screws in at the same time. Take the door handle in. First thing to do is hook the bar, the actuator, back into that little weird clip. Swing the clip around, keep it on. Connector, we were just reversing everything we did before. Fit that back into place. Okay. All right, let's put all the screws in place. These two for the door handle. One. Two. This one that goes underneath the door handle. And then we'll take the little flap, whoop, right, and we'll stick it back where it needs to go. These two little tabs are going to go on the flat side. Press in, fit in there, and then just close the flap. Speaker screws. There we go. And now we're covering everything back up. This little plate here. And it's got, trying to show it to you. Yeah, there we go. It's got these two tabs on one side, that's the bottom side, and this one little latch is on for the top. Really just kind of presses in there. That's it. Speaker cover. Done. This piece here on the front. You can always pause if you feel intimidated by it. You want to make sure you're doing it right. Just slow down. Pause. Take a look at how it attaches itself and align those holes. Push it in. It's done. I see a lot of people say, I'm not mechanically inclined. There's nothing mechanical about this really. There's nothing intimidating about it. It's just plastic. It's just a box. The car is a box with some plastic in it, especially if you're not dealing with any engines or electrical stuff. So this is easy stuff. You can do it. This one's a bit tricky. You got to align this groove right. Remember, we're just gonna reverse what we did. So we're gonna put it up at an angle like this. We're gonna swing it in until that clip gets in where it needs to go. Done. And this door is finished. Now this still has a bit of a squish from the padding that's there, but it doesn't have that give, that brokenness that it did before. And now we do the same to the passenger side.